When a football team gets ready to execute a play at the line of scrimmage, everyone knows what to do. The coach has assigned all players to positions with well-documented roles and responsibilities. Every team has a large number of plays, and each play may have different requirements, but the coach uses many communication channels and repetition to assure that everyone knows what to do when a particular play is called. The coach develops a playbook that shows each player's task on every play. There are many hours of preseason and weekly practices where players learn and repeat each play many times. Players and coaches talk informally and watch game videos together to develop shared expectations and to improve performance for the next game. Having a constant, clear, and appropriate communication is the key to success for a football team and also for a project management team. Project communications management enables project managers to send the right messages to the right people in the best possible way. Communications is considered the glue that connects project stakeholders. Project managers follow a communications management process from project planning through project closeout. This allows them to develop and execute communication plans that identify who should receive overall project information and role-specific communications that enable them to contribute effectively to the team. Project managers also must assign responsibility for communicating appropriate information and data, and they must determine how and when communications should be delivered. Project managers who communicate effectively deliver projects on time and within budget more often than those who do not. By keeping stakeholders engaged and project team members motivated, as well as by providing appropriate clarity and detail, successful project managers manage project communications to assure understanding of critical project components, such as scope, schedule, budget, objectives, and deliverables. Successful project managers practice project communications management by using a variety of frequent informal and formal communication channels that rely on clear language and relevant topics to the audience. Creating the communications management process begins with planning. The primary purpose for planning the communications management process is to define a communications approach that effectively and efficiently meets the needs of project stakeholders. The next step is to develop and implement a project communications management plan to create and share communications that meet the information needs of the project team and the stakeholders. The last part of this process is to monitor and control communications throughout the entire project life cycle, since this will ensure information needs of project stakeholders are being met. This may require identifying new and different ways to communicate if previously identified communications channels do not meet the information needs of stakeholders. There are 6 necessary elements for a project management communications plan, including defining the audience, defining the requirements, building a communications schedule, choosing a team member to oversee and schedule communication, defining the medium of communication, and preparing the content. Not only should a project management communications plan document, identify stakeholder information needs, available technology, and methods of communication, but it should also explain clearly when, how, and by whom project information should be managed and shared. Project management communication plans can use different techniques for managing communication, from establishing and adhering to a regular communication schedule to managing the flow of information on an as-needed basis. This method requires project managers, or their designated team members, to determine what various stakeholder audiences need to know and what to hear in the specific situation. Providing critical documents to stakeholders, especially to project team members, is necessary for managing complexity, uncertainty, and risk, as well as for executing a successful project management communications plan. These documents include the project's fact sheet, work breakdown structure, project charter, resource breakdown structure, performance reporting, stakeholder analysis, communications matrix. Just as in football, getting the best output from a project team requires frequent two-way communication with all members of the team. Project communications management helps ensure everyone understands and agrees with the strategy and has a clear understanding of their roles and responsibilities. We learned that a project team's success relies on effective communications. This communication management process involves defining an effective communications approach, developing and implementing a project communications plan, and monitoring and controlling communications. We also learned that a project communications plan involves defining the audience, defining the requirements, building a communication schedule, choosing a team member to oversee and schedule communication, defining the medium of communication, and preparing the content. Finally, we discussed how providing critical documents to stakeholders, such as the project charter, work breakdown structure, and communications matrix, was essential.